So I'm here with Coach James Page, head coach of the Cabrillo Seahawks. So Coach, talk to me a little bit about what the tournament was like up in Shasta. You guys left town, you had drawn even on your schedule, you were 1-1, you went and played 3 games in 3 days. What was the Shasta tournament like?
Shasta tournament's always a good one. It's year in, year out, been a very competitive tournament. You have teams like Santa Rosa and Merritt and Chabot. Shasta's had good groups over the years. It's been one that we've enjoyed. Enjoy the group of guys that you're up there competing against. They always are well-coached teams, so it's a great barometer early in the season. First kind of trip to get away with your guys and kind of do some team bonding and just kind of rally around on the road. It's about a 5-hour drive for us. We took off Thursday morning, got checked in the hotel, grabbed a bite to eat, hit the Shasta College campus, and got ready and played a really good Santa Rosa team. And got fortunate to come away with a win in that one. We were lucky enough to go 3-0 against 3 very well-coached groups, and kind of started putting a little bit of our season together and getting us kind of on the page of what it's going to take to be successful and how we want to play, and getting young guys the minutes and the confidence that they're going to need, and kind of just showing young guys what it takes to win at the college level. It's not easy. It's hard to win college basketball games, and so these guys don't know how to do it yet, and getting a chance to go up there and beat some very good teams was good for our confidence.
So looking at the stats, your offenses are usually very balanced. You have a lot of players that score in double figures, but Darius Best had one game where he went off for 30 points. When you have that happen with a freshman, what is your thought process like coming out of that? Do you think I can look to him to score more buckets, or do you think it was a good matchup? How does that change the way you play Darius?
Well, Darius is a very gifted scorer. We knew that last year. He was one of our leading scorers in our showcases last year before he broke his hand, which forced him to medically redshirt for the year. And then as he got healthy and he was part of our redshirt group, he was giving our regular team fits, and we were one of the better defensive teams in the North last year, and we had trouble containing him. So we knew that Darius had the ability to score points at a high level, at a high volume, and efficiently. And he's done that throughout the year. He's shooting almost 50% from the floor, almost 40% from 3, over 80% from the line. He's averaging over 19 a game. Those are things that we know that he's capable of, and he got off to a slow start. He hadn't played basketball in about 2 or 3 years since COVID kind of ended his end of his senior year. So I think the first game against Delta was kind of getting out some nervous jitters, and then you're slowly starting to see him round into what we expect you'll see on a consistent basis. I don't know if he's going to score 30 all the time, but he definitely has that capability. He's gifted like that.
There are very few players at this level that can score 30 a game. So as far as other players on the team, who do you look to as who else has the potential to kind of go off and score that many points in a game?
Joe Rush is easy that same way. We scrimmaged Columbia early this year, and Columbia is one of the top 5 teams in Northern California, and Joe had 30 in that game. We're very fortunate to have 2 guys in your backcourt that at any night could go for 30. I think both are also willing passers and capable playmakers for others. But those guys both are 2 guys who on any given night could go for 30. And the way that Clarence Martin shoots the ball, you give him a high volume of perimeter shots and good looks, and he could put up 30 on a given night. I think Solomon has the potential. Tucker has the potential to do that. He's just gifted at all 3 levels. He can score with his back to the basket. He can shoot it from the perimeter. He can attack off the bounce. So we're pretty lucky that we have guys like that. And I think you'll see as we get healthy and closer to full strength that whether they can all go for 30 on a given night, we have a lot of guys who could be the guy on any particular evening.
So unless I'm mistaken, I'm just pulling this number off the top of my head. I think you've coached 12 conference MVPs. Is that
yes.
right? 12 conference MVPs, at least 7 of them were All-Americans. Does that sound about right, or give or take?
Give or take, yeah.
So you know what real talent looks like at this level. You know what being the best player in the conference looks like. Your preseason schedule is very spread out in terms of you're playing a lot of different types of teams. When you go on the road and play a team like Cuesta and suffer a tough loss, how does that impact the way you look at scheduling, or is that just something where you take the L in non-conference and keep it moving?
There's a lot of different ways that you can go about scheduling, and obviously young in my career, finding the right balance of winnable games versus games that are going to challenge you, whether it's at home or on the road. You want to test yourself, and we have a good young group that has a chance to do good things this year. And Cuesta is one of the Southern California teams, probably the closest that we could get to. It's only about a 2.5-hour drive. And they are really good this year. They're very talented. They're well coached. I mean, their
Home
coaches.
court advantage, if I'm not mistaken. They have a great crowd.
They had a nice crowd. They had a good they have a good home court, for sure. It's a nice facility. Their coach has won like 900 games or something like that. I mean, he's a very accomplished coach, and he's got a good group down there. And they took advantage of a lot of mistakes that we made, and we didn't play particularly well. And I think you see that from young groups. There's just an inconsistency to what we do right now. And the 2 times we haven't shot the ball particularly well, we've suffered losses in the games that we've shot the ball well. We beat good teams. So just like in any other level of basketball, it's a make or miss sport, and you make shots and you give yourself a chance, and you don't, and they make things really tough. And we made things tough on ourselves against Cuesta, and they shot the ball at a high level, and that's just kind of how it works. And I wouldn't not schedule a team like that again. I enjoyed the competition. We like to play good teams. That's the best way to win and grow and move and develop. So I think that a lot of people think the only way that you can grow is from losing games. I like to win games and grow too. I think any coach would. But the last time we suffered a loss to Delta, it kind of galvanized the group a little bit and saw us, kind of step up our level of play in practice. And I saw the same thing this last week after Cuesta, and hopefully we can carry it into a nice low win streak like we did after Delta. And if so, then we'll put ourselves in a good position to have a really good preseason going into a very challenging conference that we have coming up.
Which leads us right into the Saltwater Classic, which starts tomorrow. Today, probably for the people watching this. You're going to play 3 games in 72 hours. Your first game is guaranteed. So this is the first time, in my understanding, you've ever run a true open tournament for Saltwater?
We did it last year, but
okay.
COVID kind of changed things. We had to shut down half the tournament on our Sunday, and we ended up having to finish up a game like 3 weeks later against Merritt on the road, so it ended up being a weird scenario. But this is the first time that we anticipate is actually going to hopefully go smoothly, and it's a very challenging tournament. San Mateo is one of the top teams in the north. Columbia is one of the top teams in the north. Butte has been perennially very, very good. Merced's one of the top scoring teams. I could go on and on about the teams that are in the tournament, and they're all very talented and they're all well coached, and I'm looking forward to the competition. It's a great weekend of just basketball. So if you're in the area, stop on by.
How does it influence you as a coach having to host a tournament? Are you split in more ways, or are you able to just kind of tunnel down and focus on your team for the whole weekend?
It's JUCO, so yeah, you're pulled in every different direction. You're setting up, you're welcoming coaches and refs, and taking care of hospitality rooms while trying to coach your team and prep and get film for all the other coaches and things like that. So there's a lot going on. It's a very, very busy weekend. I got a great staff that helps out, great administration that are doing the same. So we're lucky in that regard, but it does add a lot to the plate on top of just trying to get ready to win a game or two.
Cool. That's all I got. Thanks, Coach.
Anytime.